Hey guys, welcome to the DNA show. Really glad that you are listening to this very special episode. And you may ask, why is this episode so special? Because today, not only do I have my co creator Anirudh with me here in the studios, but I also have a very special guest for you all. This guest is not just anyone, but truly one of the minds behind the DNA show. She has worked tirelessly behind the scenes with me and Anirudh in developing this show. I am very happy to welcome my best friend and my wife, Ankita, to the DNA show. Hi, Wi-Fi. Good to have you on the podcast today.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me here, and it's a pleasure to be with you on this episode.
So, guys, Ankita is here today not just because she's Dev's wife and she one day decided to show up on the studio and, want to see what we are up to, but, we are going to discuss a very relevant and ever important topic, tax filing. No, no, no. Do not turn off the podcast. This is a very relevant and, we want to make it as marvelous as it can. So, let's go for it.
So, guys, Ankita has been filing tax returns for all our family members since we got married, and that too without having any formal education in commerce or any related field. To give you a little context to this, Ankita is a digital marketing professional and she works with an ad agency in Mumbai. She has today made an effort to make us all understand tax filing from a layman perspective. And why are we doing this podcast? Because only 5.83 crores out of 140 crore Indian filed taxes in the year 2022 and 23. And there is no data to show how many citizens filed it themselves, but I'm sure the majority didn't because the process is perceived to be very complicated. And so today, Ankita will break down the whole process for us and make it simple. Also, adding on, I have decided that I will file my own tax return this year after this episode. So listen in carefully and don't worry, we will also be posting a follow up YouTube video after this episode goes on air for more clarity and guidance. So, Ankita, on to you.
Okay, so to start with, let me make it clear the ITR filing queries or the stuff is not as boring as it sounds. My personal journey began when we got married. It was like, by that time, I already had a 4 to 5 year of work ex, but I've never filed tax or I've gone through my Form 16. So, there is actually you who has introduced me to this procedure when you asked me about my Form 16, and I had no clue clearly. So, and for some reason, I was not comfortable in outsourcing this job to someone else, like how everyone was doing in our family and friends, etc. Maybe my finances are just too personal for me.
Yeah, understandable, yes.
Right. So I actually learned the basics from the YouTube videos and online available information. So back in those days in 2015-16, tax filing date always used to get extended by 3 to 4 months. So I had like sufficient time to do a bit of R&D in
Correct.
this case. So by the way, until 2021, the tax filing deadline used to get extended, sometimes even up to 6 months. However, since then it's been noticed government is not giving any kind of extensions for the filing the returns. So keeping that trend in mind, please consider 31st July as a last date for filing the returns. And if you try to file the returns after that, you might have to pay the penalty up to 5,000 rupees.
I don't want to pay that. So, listen to her, guys. Listen to her very carefully.
So, yeah, again, reiterating that point, I would suggest after listening to this podcast, try to file your own taxes whenever you have a chance to do one. Carry on, Ankita, yes.
Sure. So, okay, coming back to where it all started. So, after doing a bit of my research and checking multiple third party sites which can assist you in filing your taxes, I was able to file my tax successfully for that very particular year. And then it has become the extended service for everyone around me.
So
So,
kind of you.
so we all know filing tax is very, very important for all of us, no matter whether you are a salaried person, homemaker, content creator, whatever. If you hold a Indian PAN card, you are liable to pay the taxes and file your ITR. If you're anyone who is above the age of 18, holds a PAN card but has no income, still it is mandatory for you to go and file your ITR with a zero income mentioned.
So, let's start with this, Ankita. How to file an ITR?
See, it's not as complicated as making a biryani, but if you have the right understanding, this process can be as easy and simple just like making a Maggie.
Wow. So, what is required to file taxes in India?
You need your login credentials, Form 16 or Form 26AS.
Wow, that's a lot of forms.
No, not actually. So see, in most of the cases, Form 16 is provided by your employer. If someone is a pensioner, they will get their Form 16 from the bank. Or suppose if you don't have your Form 16 in place, you can always log into the Traces site, which is a sub-site of a Indian government ITR site. You can download your Form 26AS from there directly. However, I would suggest you, if please use your ITR site owned by the government of India for filing your taxes, you will not require any of these forms because they already have a pre-filled data available with them.
Oh, that's great. So government is already recording our data.
Yes, it
Absolutely.
is.
They
And
have,
guys,
yeah.
even for the listeners, ITR site means the IT department's own website.
Yes.
Yeah. So Ankita, how does one get their login credentials? Can you explain to our listeners the registration process?
Registration on the IT site is very simple. Is like literally registering on the Facebook. You
Okay.
need to have your username, which can be your PAN card number, and your phone number and Adar card, and just do the process. Select a password of your choice, and it's done.
Oh, it's that simple.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, carry on.
Okay, so for filing an ITR, make sure your PAN and Aadhaar card is linked, as the last date to link your PAN and Aadhaar card was 31st March 2022, and still you have not linked that. You can always go back and raise the request from the same site, but for that you have to make a payment of 1,000 rupees additional for doing this.
1,000 rupees to link my
Aadhaar card to PAN
Aadhaar
card.
with my PAN card.
Shouldn't the
Yes.
government do it by themselves? Like they
Yeah,
already
they are
have our
doing it. They're
details.
charging you for it.
They have
This
already
is
given you, okay, so cut you guys over here. They have already given you around 2 years of time for doing this process, and still, if you have not done, then
oh,
definitely
so
you
it's
deserve
basically
to pay
late
the
payment
penalty.
charges. It's basically late payment charges in
I
that case.
kind of agree.
Absolutely. And suppose if there is a case where you're not sure whether your PAN and Aadhaar card is linked or not, you can always visit the same site. Under the quick link section, you can check the status of your Aadhaar card. Just put your Aadhaar card number, PAN card number, and it will give you a pop-up saying whether it's linked or not.
So hold on, Ankita.
Okay.
And to the listeners out there, you mentioned a few URLs or maybe just websites in the last 1 minute, and we will add these URLs with the description in the podcast description so everyone can refer to them easily. Also, along with your URLs, we will mention each step for the process for you to refer. And again, as we mentioned earlier, we will do a tutorial video that will follow up with the podcast. And yeah, sorry to cut you off. You
And
go.
the
No.
YouTube video will be available on the DNA Show's YouTube channel.
Oh yeah.
Please subscribe to our YouTube page to get full access to the follow-on content. Ankita, please carry on.
Sure. So once you log into your ITR India site, first step which is visible to you is the dashboard page. On the dashboard page, you will see the direct tax collected by the government or TDS deducted by your employer in the last financial year.
So, a quick refresher to people who aren't really interested in taxes. There are two types of taxes that Government of India collects. There is direct and there is indirect. Direct taxes is your income tax, and everything else is indirect.
GST,
GST,
CGST.
VAT, octroi,
Yes.
etc., etc., etc. As an individual, what is relevant to you is direct taxes only. You might ask, I'm paying GST, why don't I get a GST refund on it? No.
We are not
Individuals in
Dubai.
India are not eligible for GST refunds. We are eligible only for direct tax refunds. And that's the process that Ankita is basically explaining us about. Yeah, Ankita, please continue.
Okay, since the file window is open till 31st of July every year, you can directly go there to file your returns online. Now, as the next step, select the ITR assessment year for the filing, and ITR type will pop up. So, to keep it simple, most of us individuals comes under the ITR 1. So, you have to select that from your form for yourself.
So, Ankita, quick question here. What are the other types of ITR filing that are found in the income tax filing process? And how are they different from each other? Also, I have a second part of this question. What is an assessment year? And how is it different from a financial year, which is any which way is different from a calendar year?
So many years.
Yeah.
In 1
Actually,
year.
he just threw like too many questions on me.
Yeah.
So I'll take the last part first. What is the difference between financial year and assessment year? Financial year is the year for which the TDS or the taxes has been deducted by your employer. So that's mostly going to be the previous year. And assessment year is the one in which you do your filing process.
So, if I'm correct, assessment year starts from 1st of April to the 31st of March.
Yes,
That's the
but
financial
again,
year.
That's the financial year.
that's the
Okay.
financial year, but assessment year is also the same, but in which you are doing the process. Suppose if I'm doing my filing my returns this year, my assessment year is 23 and 24, whereas my financial year is for 22 and 23 because I'm filing my returns for that year.
So to make it simpler, the assessment year is the following year of the financial year.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And now please come to the first part of my question.
Okay, so there are multiple types of ITR. Majorly, it's between ITR 1 to ITR 4, ITR 4 where we all fall under. ITR 1 is basically for all those individuals who has their income from the salaries, their savings from the FDs, post office, NPS, all those things. ITR 2 can be filled by those individuals who doesn't have any income. And ITR 3 is for those, especially for the businesses and professionals. Coming to ITR 4 is actually for those where when you have a multiple sources of income. So depending on which, from which instrument you are generating, that the second or a third type of income, depending on those, you can always select with between the ITR 1 and ITR 4. But to keep it simple, ITR 1 is the form where we all fall under.
So I have a question here.
Yes.
Thanks to all the modern day trading apps,
Mhm.
a lot of young Indians have started trading in stock markets along with their full-time jobs. What category do they fall into?
Okay, so income from stock trading considers as a additional income, and you can file it under ITR 1 and 4 depending on the instrument that are generating that income for you. So there are basically like around 14 to 18 criterias to fulfill to fall under either of the forms.
So, follow-up question. When you
Yes.
talk about instruments, it's basically a source of income?
Instruments would basically, Anu, mean whether the income is generated from a share or a mutual fund or a ULIP.
So basically your
Yeah,
source of whatever.
and I know this because me and Ankita have discussed about this earlier. So it will basically depend upon which instrument are you generating that additional income from,
Okay.
and depending on that, you may fall either under ITR 1 or ITR 4. I think
Got
that's
it.
what you're trying to say, Ankita.
Yes, your instrument could be anything if you have generated an income from selling a land also. Because
Okay.
that is like an additional thing. But
Ah.
again, you have to check how much is the amount, what is the amount. And again, depending on those criteria, it will fall under between the 1 or the 4. But I would suggest if you feel that you fall under the ITR 4 category, you should always take a professional help and get it done by the CAs.
So I should just walk up to the CA and he's like, take my money.
No,
File my taxes.
no, and one more thing, you should also tell him, get me some money back.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the problem. That the reason the motivation to do this podcast was very simple. I was talking this to a few friends and they said, यार हमको तो कभी returns आते ही नहीं है. And that's largely because वो CA को documents दे देता है, CA with zero refund फाइल कर देता है, and काम खत्म हो गया. CA 2,000 रुपये ले लेगा, आपने से returns तो फाइल कर दिए, but there was a probability of getting a return. And I will tell you, this is out of personal experience. We've started the podcast saying that I used to file my taxes via CA.
Yeah.
When Ankita first filed her return, in the following year when she tried to file my return, she saw all the returns that have been filed earlier by my CA.
Okay.
And I was probably working for about 5 to 7 years by then. And we estimated that I had lost about ₹1,00,000 by not claiming those
okay.
refunds, because my CA was busy just closing the formality out. And so I want to emphasize on this podcast today that, guys, when you're giving it to your CA, please ask him what he's exactly doing. Please ask him, is there a scope of getting a return?
Ask him the relevant questions.
Ask him the relevant questions. And if he is not giving you the right answer, he is not the right choice for you.
Yeah.
Find another CA or do it yourself, like we're explaining it here.
You're lucky to have Ankita, right?
Absolutely. I married well, right? I have said this in the first podcast. I married very well.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's handy if someone knows finances.
And it's not complicated. At least today, we will all learn that it's not complicated. Yeah, Ankita, so please carry on. You were on the ITR form 1.
Yes. So coming back to ITR form 1, once you selected the form as per your nature of income, proceed to the file of returns, and it's just the 5-step process. Trust me, it's very simple. So first tab which will pop up to you is all about your personal information, where you have to validate the information available to government, which is like your personal information like DOB, PAN card, Adar card, address, phone number, email ID. You just have to validate and confirm the same and proceed. Second tab will appear about your gross total income, what you have earned in the last financial year,
Okay.
which is definitely shared by your employer, and you cannot change this number, and ideally you should not change this number because
Yeah, yeah.
government has all the forms plus the proofs handy along with these numbers.
करेक्ट.
झोल नहीं कीजिए.
प्लीज
हाँ
मत
मतलब
कीजिए.
यार सबसे पहली चीज, don't misrepresent any information to the
Yeah,
government.
They have
it's
everything.
it's not right. Today
it's not right.
our
True.
government systems are very very smart. They know every penny that you have earned and every penny that you have spent, especially if you're a salaried employee.
Yep.
They are aware of things that you're not aware of. Please, I want to reiterate this. We think that our government standards are very low, but no. In terms of technology, as a country, we have evolved, and as a government, we have done some stupendous work.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I remember filing my taxes
Yeah.
back in 2011, 2012, and the tax returns used to take like ages.
Yeah.
But now it's like within 15 days, 20 days. And I'm like,
Again, another thing, no, the entire IT system is
Yeah.
based on a very smart AI technology now.
oh, I think Tata is handling it, right?
Yes,
Who's
Tata.
currently handling the website, Ankita?
Tata, it's TCS.
TCS.
It's been developed by TCS since 2021, and they have revamped the website extremely well now. It's like so user friendly. You just have to go, do click, 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 just confirm your all the available information. It's done actually.
Wow.
You don't have to go visit anyone else for your finances.
What about the paperwork? I mean, you just upload
Nothing.
everything. Okay.
Nothing. They have everything pre-filled for you, honestly. Yeah, there are few instances where you might have to upload few documents, and for that we are going to talk in our next section.
Yeah, Ankita, please continue. So you were on
Total deductions.
Deductions, yes.
So this is the third part of the pop-up, like where in this step you can check all the investment declaration considered by your employer while calculating your tax. So if required, you can also make additional declarations that were missed by your employer, like your medical insurance, health insurance, or if you own a EV or any kind of donation you have made last year, you can always add those numbers over here.
So when you say donations, is it like donations to a charity, NGO, or a
Anything,
political party?
donations to the political party, donations to the charity, donations to any kind of a camps. You can, but to file this, you need to have the challan number and receipt number handy to
Oh,
upload the file. This
okay.
is the paperwork I was talking about.
Yeah, I think we wouldn't know that. We would just blindly donate.
Yeah.
Please
See,
don't
most
do
of the
that.
times, with whatever basic finance information I have, when you do a donation, most of these charitable trusts are registered under Section 80D.
Okay.
And for a Section 80D organization, they have to give you a receipt.
Got it.
That receipt is the proof of your donation and is used as a tax instrument when you submit your taxes.
I think when you're declaring your paperwork to your employer,
Yeah,
that's when you can
Exactly,
show it, right?
exactly.
Got
So,
it.
Ankita, was I right on the 80D part?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Let's
So
move
all
on.
donation gifts are tax free in India.
Can I donate to my wife?
You can donate to me.
Okay, so just confirm the above deductions and move to the next step, which is about the taxes paid. So now we have discussed about our personal information. We have validated our income part. Deductions also we have mentioned to the government. Now here is the section where you have to confirm your income details and investment declarations. Your TDS details will appear in this section, which means how much tax you have paid actually and already.
So that's tax deducted at source.
Yes.
Yes, TDS.
So this is a section where typically we should not change the numbers, as government already has your form 16, form 26AS, unless you have the tax receipts and challans available with you, which might be required while processing your return at the later stage by the government.
Okay.
So once you confirm the same, that the last tab will pop up with your tax liability or tax refund. It's a beautiful term.
The golden spot.
I do have a question here.
Yes, yes.
Say suppose I was working for a company from September to March,
Hmm.
and then I'm no longer with that company. I joined somewhere else in
Hmm.
say June. So what should I do then?
So in that scenario, so the same site, government is already having your data from both the companies available.
Oh, okay.
They are that smart.
Okay.
So whatever you have earned from April to September and whatever taxes you have paid, they have that data also, and from September to March also they have that data.
So all the moonlighters out there, right?
Yeah. So
They need to be
so I will tell
careful.
you what, and this is something that I learned from Ankita and also my previous organization. When your company pays you a salary, they are eligible to get a tax benefit on that salary
Oh,
because that's a tax relief for them because it's an expense.
yep.
So every time your company gives you a salary, they have to show it to the government. So
Got it.
even if you don't show it in your books, they have already showed it to the government because they want tax relief on that amount. So if you were paid 10,000 rupees in salary, your company has already showed it to the government that I have paid Anirudh on this PAN number this much money.
So everything is
So
recorded on the
it's all
books.
recorded, it's all transparent. So even if you try to hide it, government will find it. And I'm sure this podcast is very relevant for individuals.
Yep.
And individuals really don't have too much to hide.
Yeah, that's true.
We hide largely not because of greed, but because of either we are a
Fear.
little lazy and we don't want to get into too much documentation, or we are not aware of things.
Yep.
And awareness is the problem that we are trying to solve here.
Yep.
Laziness is your problem, you deal with it.
So let's go to the money part. Tax
Sure.
refunds.
So this tab will appear on the basis of your declaration and the amount of the taxes paid. So if you have paid more taxes against your investment, you will probably get a refund or you might have to pay more tax. And if everything is perfect and well calculated, your return will file as a zero tax liability. Confirm the same and proceed with the ITR file acknowledge the same on the site itself. After your acknowledgement, you have to e-verify your returns, which means whatever is mentioned or declared in the return is true and done by yourself. You can e-verify your return by multiple options like net banking, digital signatures, OTP from the number associated with your Adar card, or even by your demat account, EVC or accounts.
So a question here. So when you're e-verifying it, you
Mhm.
basically put in, say, suppose I say that it's me. So the government will send you an OTP to your Aadhaar, right? Like
Yes.
Aadhaar link number, and then that's when they know that it's you and not someone else.
Yes.
Okay.
See, it's basically government way of doing two-step authentication.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, everything now is based on Aadhaar, right? Aadhaar
Yeah.
is the base platform for practically everything that government is doing in this country.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So I would suggest the simplest of all is by getting the OTP on your mobile number if your mobile number is linked with your Aadhaar number. And tada, it's
So
done.
I will remind you something, guys. Not remind you, I will tell you something. Back before Aadhaar came in, before 2010, 11, when you file your returns, you had to physically courier your returns filing to the government in Bangalore.
Seriously?
Yes.
Oh shit.
You had to courier it to Bangalore
I
where
think I had done that once. I
where there is
remember.
a ITR
Vaguely.
data collection office. You would courier it, you not even courier it, you have to post it. That was the only route.
Post.
Yeah, only India Post. You had to post it and then you would wait forever
I think that was the reason I was not doing my taxes
in
before the marriage
oblivion,
and all.
and you would wait in oblivion because you don't know whether the courier was delivered or the post was delivered. You wouldn't know if they have received it. Is it right? Is it wrong? When would you get the return? Nothing. There was no communication.
Yeah, it's a
You
blind
wouldn't
spot.
receive an acknowledgement email. You wouldn't receive a confirmation email. Nothing. You would wait for at least 6 months to think कि सही हुआ है, नहीं हुआ है. And probably one day when you call them on the call center number, they will say, we never got your ITR return.
So
But today, because of Aadhaar technology, all this is solved. You can
Yeah.
e-verify. There is an option, I think, Ankita, even today without
Yes.
e-verifying. So people who think they are not technologically very competent.
So I gave the four options like
Yeah.
using your net banking, your
Yeah.
demat account, your saving bank account, EVC. You can do that.
Yes, yes, yes.
So, quick question. Say you've done with all the four processes. You verified, and suddenly you realized, oh shit, I missed this. I kind of wanted to add something or remove something, what can be done if everything is done, like if
So
you want to
it's
correct yourself?
okay. So it's okay to make mistakes. So if you feel if you have done any mistake in filing an ITR, it's absolutely fine. You may get a notification on your registered email ID along with the process to rectify the same. Also, you can go back to your ITR site and refile the entire thing again. They
So
give
you
you
have
that
to start
option.
from the scratch.
Yes.
Okay.
You have that option available till 31st of July. That is the deadline you have to take care. So please understand, like, queries from income tax department or notices are not to scare you or to put you in discomfort. It's just like, validating that whatever has been done or submitted by you is correct. So to check with the queries, or you can always log into your IT site again, go back to pending action. There is a tab over there, and under the tab you can respond to their queries. That is the first part if they have sent the queries. Suppose you want to raise a query to them, you can always go to the grievances or help section, and
Okay.
you can write your query and you can send it to them.
So what's like the turnaround time for them to respond?
Okay, even you can also do the same with your email ID as well. It's typically like 3 to 5 working days.
That's fast. 3 to 5
Yes.
working days.
You
Wow.
will get automated reply like within like 15 minutes that we have received your query, and you
Okay.
will get a proper revert within 3 to 5 working days. That's
Dude, our
how
country
efficient
is
they are.
progressing.
Yes, it is definitely. I think with everything you've said, Ankita, now I'm very intrigued to kind of do this myself.
My job is
No,
done.
no. In fact, I have very recently read an article by one of the finance secretaries in India, and they said, as a part of a growing economy, government wants more and more people to file their returns,
Yep.
and the easiest way to do that is by making the process simple for everyone. Because you understand, right? I quoted the number
Yep.
less than 6 crores out of 140 crore. That's
As
like a
state,
very,
but
very negligible number.
yep.
That's like 2% of the entire population. And basically 2% of entire India's population is bearing the load for everyone.
I
So
get that.
how do you increase the country's tax earning, right? Either by ensuring that people's
Make it
earning
more simple,
increase or
basically.
get more people to fill taxes.
Yeah. And I think this is a good route. I mean, if
Yeah,
it's
it's a very simple thing. So
yeah.
and hence this is our contribution to government's efforts of making this process very simple, very understandable for people. Yeah, Ankita, please continue.
Sure. Coming to the second part of this, like you said, like you have done mistakes, or maybe there could be a scenario where you didn't realize like you had made a mistake. You get a notice saying like you have to pay a little bit more on the tax part. Don't worry, you can always go to the same site. There is a option to pay more taxes. There is the link generated, auto generated link is there. Just click on the link and make the payment. It's
And
as simple as that.
okay.
Don't
And how
worry.
do they accept the payment? Can we use a credit card?
No. So, okay, that's again a pain point for me also, but they only accept net banking and UPI mode of payment.
Oh, okay.
Ankita, what happens when you receive a query? What do you do when you receive a query?
So once you receive a query, you will get a notification on your email ID. Please don't get scared of the query. It's a normal thing.
Yeah.
Any notices from the government, I'll
I
skip
know it's
my.
scary, yeah, right.
Yeah,
It's,
so that's what I'm trying to say. Please don't get scared. It's normal. It's just a query. Like everyone has a question. So government also has questions regarding your income and your declared deductions about the tax. So just go to the proceeding options on the site. Answer the query. And in most of the cases, when you get the query from the government, you will also get the process along with it to handle the query. You just have
okay.
to go and handle it accordingly if they have
So
asked for
basically,
some
it's
kind of
going to be like a
clarification.
page where they will tell
Yes,
this
under
is
the
my question,
e-proceeding
this is the
section.
steps that you can take.
Yes.
Very self-explanatory.
Absolutely. You just, if they have asked you like if these returns doesn't mismatch with your declared value or the deductions value, you can always add up over there. You can add your supporting documents over there. Or also you can mention it over there like whatever is mentioned as per is correct as per your understanding and as per your knowledge.
Okay.
So that's very simple to address any query raised by the government.
Again, one thought that I have, Anu, here is government is not out there to get you. You are in very, very conservative terms, you're a small fish. They are not interested in
Unless
you.
you have thousands and
Yeah.
crores of income.
They are not interested in you. What they want is for you to follow and adhere to the basic policy framework.
Okay.
And if you're playing by the rules, they are more than happy to let you play around.
Got it.
So there is nothing to fear. Again, another motivation of doing this podcast was people are really fearful of the Indian income tax department.
Mm.
मतलब वो ऐसा लगता है ना वो स्पेशल 26 पिक्चर चल रही है. But it's not that case. IT department is not out there to come and raid your house. You're no one. You're just one out of 140 crore.
No, we are one of the 5 crores who are filing the taxes.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
But even then, if you have done everything right, there's nothing
Yeah.
to fear. It's the same thing, right? जो स्पेशल 26 में दिखाया था कि एक बार घर के अंदर घुस गए तो बस सब डर जाते.
Yes.
That's not the case. पहली बात तो तुम्हारे घर के आसपास नहीं आएंगे.
एड्रेस ढूंढने ही टाइम लगेगा.
एड्रेस ढूंढने टाइम लगेगा. तुम मेन स्ट्रीट पे नहीं रहते, तुम हाई स्ट्रीट पे नहीं रहते, तुम 3rd 4th लेन के अंदर रहते हो.
I agree.
And I'm not trying to demean our listeners in any way. We want the richest of the rich to listen to our podcast. It's fine. We are fine with it. And you can donate to us. We will give you ATD. And you can save your taxes on it.
Nice.
Yeah. Please carry on, guys.
So, Ankita, how long does it take for the tax refund to be processed if everything is in line as per the rules? Is there a way to follow up with the ITR department to expedite the refund process, or does the IT department think that it's the way they handle it? Like, we wouldn't know the SOP, but what's like, what if say there is a refund time, so I file my taxes and then I
Just
waited
keep on waiting.
4 months, 5 months.
Just keep
Can
on
I
waiting.
actually claim interest on that amount?
Okay, so jokes apart, see, there is no fixed timeline for the same. But one thing is for sure, as you mentioned about the interest, yes, you will get it along with your interest. Whatever is for the time period they have hold your funds, you will get like literally even for a single rupee as well.
Oh, okay.
The ideal time as per the IT department is actually from 45 days to 6 months. If there are no pending queries or refunds due, you will get a notification of a successful submission of your ITR within 45 days to 3 months. So that's how it works. However, there is not short way to reach out to IT department. See, email ID and phone numbers are present all over their website and everything. But it's not, I won't say it's not much helpful. Like they don't have a sufficient data handy to answer your query over the call.
Okay.
So it's always a better way to reach out to them via their site or drop them an email ID.
Yeah, I think the site should have like the ticketing
Yeah,
system.
it is.
Yes,
it's-
yes.
Yeah. I mean, if they are using AI, I'm sure they have a ticketing system.
Yeah.
Guys,
At
please
the
go
least.
and surf the website. They have spent like crores to revamp their entire IT
They've used
site.
our money to
Yeah.
create that website.
Exactly.
And
God
for
damn it.
you guys only, not for someone else.
Yeah.
So please use it.
I'm definitely gonna try it this time, and
Oh,
I'll let the listeners know.
I have promised to my listeners that I have to.
एटलीस्ट
will.
सर्फ इट अराउंड यार मतलब
yeah.
थोड़ा सा जाओ थोड़े 3-4 टैब एक्सप्लोर करो खुद का प्रोफाइल खोलो बैंक अगर बैंक इन्फॉर्मेशन अवेलेबल नहीं है ऐड करो फेसबुक पे क्या करते हो जाके 5
डालते
मिनट नहीं तो यहाँ पे भी फोटो भी डाल सकते हो आप वो
Exactly,
ऑप्शन भी
yeah.
है यहाँ पर बट आप अपने प्रोफाइल पे जाके एटलीस्ट प्रोफाइल अपडेट करो बैंक इन्फॉर्मेशन अपडेट करो पैन नंबर वगैरह चेक कर लो एड्रेस अगर आपका अपडेट हुआ है पिछले 10-15 साल में वो जाके आप अपडेट कर दो लाइक आइडियली योर एंटायर इन्फॉर्मेशन शुड बी अलाइंड
Got it.
विथ ईच अदर लाइक ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि आधार पे दूसरा हो और आईटी पे आपके फॉर्म 16 पे दूसरा एड्रेस आ रहा हो
Yeah,
सो
yeah,
कीप
yeah,
दी स्मॉल थिंग्स
yeah.
इन माइंड एंड जस्ट डू अ सर्फिंग अराउंड
Nice. I think it was a very knowledgeable session, at least for me. I hope it was also for the listeners.
Yeah.
ग्रेट
Perfect. So, Ankita, anything else that you want to share with our listeners?
One thing I would like to touch on is about on the mismatch of the refund. When we file our taxes, we get some amount of number that this is the kind of refund. If there is any, we'll be getting. And if you feel like it's a mismatch of refund or maybe your bank account has been changed or there is no credit has been done from the government, for the same queries also you can always reach out to them, raise a request and tell them like this account has been closed or kindly reissue the refund or please there is a credit mismatch, please relook into this. They are going to definitely take care of that also. So
Wow.
how efficient they are now you can imagine.
Yeah. Perfect. If Ankita, if that is what was in your mind and that is what you had planned for, can I take it over from here?
Absolutely.
Perfect. So, guys, a disclaimer up front. We are not financial experts. We are not affiliates to the income tax department. Everything and anything that is discussed on this podcast today is completely out of experience. Please do not quote us anywhere, but do share us. Uh, Go and read information about the income tax returns process on the affiliate platforms created by the Indian government. There is a lot of information, as Ankita said, on the ITR site. So kindly go out there, read more. This is just an effort to make the process simple for you, but we might have made some mistakes in this. Don't blame us for it. Okay, so that was it. That is how easy it is to file your own taxes. It might not be as easy as making a Maggi, but it is not even as hard as making a biryani. एंड गाइस, भारत आत्मनिर्भर बन रहा है. आपको भी अपना फर्ज निभाना पड़ेगा आत्मनिर्भर होने का.
What a point. What a
या
point. I agree.
तो लगाओ आत्मनिर्भर का नारा और हो जाओ शुरू.
Well, please do DM us on our Instagram page for any more support and stay tuned for a follow-up video on our YouTube channel, The Dinesh Show India.
एंड हमेशा की तरह लाइक करो, सब्सक्राइब करो. सेल्फिश तो आप हो नहीं, तो इसको शेयर तो पक्का ही करना. थैंक यू एंड बाय फ्रॉम अस एट द DNA Show. सी यू सून अगेन.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
And that was Dave and Anirudh, your hosts for the DNA Show. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to rate us on your streaming platform. This episode was recorded at Manicpod Studios. Your executive producers are Ankita Dwivedi and Jayashri Pisharadi, and your sound engineers are Rohit Das and Manak Chakraborty. The production for this podcast was coordinated by Arnav Dogra. Stay tuned in for more exciting content.